Thanks for tuning into the Loss Prevention News Network. I'm Joe LaRocca. In 2017, according to the National Retail Security Survey, retailers lost an estimated $46 billion nationwide, or 1.33% of sales. What's more disturbing is that this is just one element of the overall losses within the retail industry. You have merchandise losses, shrink. You have fraud losses, cash theft, cargo theft, counterfeit goods. You have the damage to store property after a crime has been committed. And then, of course, when these cases turn either verbally or physically abusive against our customers, our employees, or our service providers, they can be dangerous, even deadly. And now we have a guest uniquely qualified to talk about all of these issues, and Amber's going to introduce him right now.
Dr. Reed Hayes, step on up to our hot table.
The hot table.
It's the hot table, right?
You
So you never know what's going to happen. But Dr. Reed Hayes, research scientist from University of Florida. Go Gators. Okay, first of all, let's get that out of the way. So Loss Prevention Research Council. Let me say, quite impressive, okay? Because a couple years ago, and I've been in the industry a tick-tock, okay? It was, LPRC was kind of like, what is this thing? I mean, you're talking not that long ago, and you guys have exploded onto the scene, legitimate research. It is the place to be, the thing to get involved with. So tell us, brand new year, 2019. We got Bob LaRocca doing a photo bomb on you. You can get him back later. New year, 2019, what is in store for the industry from LPRC this year?
Okay, well, let me see. Yeah, so this is a 19-year overnight success, and I just noticed on LinkedIn, yeah, this is the 19th year today, actually.
Happy anniversary!
I know that because of LinkedIn. Yeah, so yeah.
That's huge.
But I mean, theft, fraud, and violence has always been our mandate. We were started by 10 U.S. leading retailers 19 years ago. And here we are at 70 retailers plus their brands, and growing. Who knows? We'll be over 80 probably by the end of the year. But it's a community, and it's a community of 70 retailers and 75 solution partners, and half a dozen of these guys like Bacardi and Coty and Duracell and Procter & Gamble and so forth. And the community works together on theft, fraud, and violence. And we break it down in specific issues on whether it's different types of shoplifting or burglary or armed robbery or whatever it might be, parking lot security, online issues. And all right, let's break it down to the steps. What does it take to accomplish this if I'm a bad guy? What are things we could do at each of those steps to make it harder, riskier, less rewarding, and so on? So there's a methodology, there's a framework. And I think it's because of that we're growing so rapidly. We got over 300 reports out now from projects. I thought it was 68, but Mike on my team says we're working on 81 projects now.
Wow.
And now because of the restaurant group, RLPSA.
Nice acronym.
Joining. Yes.
Nailed it.
Now we're going to be looking more at QSR issues, obviously, but armed robbery, parking lot, employee theft, those things are all in the mandate, and those all affect QSR, as you well know.
Absolutely.
So we're excited about it. A lot of innovation. We're expanding our innovation lab. We got over 100 technologies in our current space. We're going to add 2 more spaces to that. One will be a total ideation lab with projectors and screens and whiteboards and things for teams to come in. So it'll go beyond just fraud and violence. Think of Mike from Kroger Company we're talking about coming in with the chief operators from his company and merchants and the logistics people and so on, coming in an independent space and just figure out what they want to do.
That's great. We were talking earlier, there's some, it's over a third, 38% I think is the number in the NRSS that says, in the ORC survey that says senior management does not understand the problem of organized retail crime. And that's specific to ORC, but it does raise the larger question about, do C-level executives understand the loss prevention mission? And it sounds like Mike, as an example, bringing in the C-level, get up close look at what you're doing and what LP is really all about.
It's a great point, Joe. And I would say that's what Mike and many of his colleagues are saying. Hey, how do we get in there and make this bigger? We don't want to be the corporate cop guy. It's a security guy. He or she can come in. We're here to support and enable the total enterprise. And so we want, when she comes in to buy something, it better be there. what all goes into that on-shelf ability.
Right.
When she wants to check out, it needs to be quick, but actually secure for the retailer, which it's not right now. And finally, she always needs to feel safe and secure when she's on that property or she's not coming back. And in each of those cases, it's a fail. If one of those fails, they're going to order on their phone. So these brick and mortar, these LP and AP VPs are saying, you know what, I want them to understand I'm enabling this enterprise.
Right.
And it's part of the experience, right? They talk about the experiential part is what's going to beat out, the technology on the phone shopping. And I think part of that is feeling safe and secure, which loss prevention has a huge part in.
Think about it. And you want to shop when it's convenient, right? And that may mean it's dark outside.
That's right. Yeah. If you're working and unemployment's at a record low, people are working, they come back after work, they come with their families, they want to be in a safe and secure environment, which generally retail is that environment. But how can we be better? How can we do more? So I have a question, and I don't want to put you on the spot with this, but
But he's going to.
It's an over/under. My inclination is to ask you this direct question: when you start pulling in all of these different data points, right? Shrink and fraud, what does the total retail loss number look like? And I know that's an intangible at the moment, right? But is it, in your estimation, is it over or under $100 billion? Is it, I mean, in a general range, NRSS being one data point, what other numbers do you pull together? And
well, we're getting estimates, as you know, from the government. They only know what somebody tells them,
right?
And then hopefully they get that right, what they've been told. So you're right. I mean, we're trying to measure the win to a certain extent. I think it's under 100, but the fact that we're even using the 100 million mark, that's a lot, or 100 billion mark rather. That's huge, right?
Scary.
That's significant.
Right.
And we don't know, but again, if you add in things, these opportunity costs, that's where you're probably at 100, right? I'm not going there anymore. Now we have Amazon, OfferUp, eBay, and of course most of our brick and mortar people are bricks and clicks. But so everything's moving and morphing in time. But I think it's that opportunity cost that gets that number, Joe, that you're talking about. Where I'm not going there anymore. I'm ordering my phone. I'm not waiting in that line. I'm ordering my phone. Or you know what? They never have what I want. When I want it, I'm getting on my phone.
Out of stock problems.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Right.
Which I know you guys study a lot of these merchandise protection devices that can help that for retailers.
Yes.
So switching gears a little bit, I think having solution providers as partners of the LPRC is a big deal. And you have the solution providers that want to truly partner, right? I mean, wouldn't you say that's one of the greatest assets for you guys is those solution providers come to the table and say, hey, here's an innovative technology we think, but we don't know. So we're going to join with you and your members to figure that out.
No, I think you're right. I mean, it's a non-selling environment, so the solution partners are not to go in there and bug anybody to sell them anything. You're there to work, let's roll up our sleeves and work elbow to elbow. But I think you're right, and the retailers now are saying, I don't just want my inbox full and meetings and calls with salespeople anymore. I need some evidence here, because I got to make a strong case for the capital committee anyway, as you all know. And so you're right, it needs to be objective, it needs to be, but the retailers can't be talking about pricing either, right? So we always explain, look, you guys know selling, you guys know talking about pricing. And then we'll all get along here real well.
Right.
And they want to generally meet with, and you want to meet with the R&D people anyway. You want to know what the capabilities are, where the future is headed. You'll figure out the costs because the market will determine what's a fair value.
That's right.
You want the people that are the smartest practitioners in the room.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're here this week, I was going to say, talking to people like Google, Cisco, NCR, Fujitsu, Toshiba, on and on, Intel and so forth, Microsoft. They want to talk about this because now everything's blended and holistic.
Right. Exactly. So another question earlier today, we were talking, we've talked a lot of technology today, so I'm glad you brought up Google and the other companies. And the questions about facial recognition and biometrics and other tracking capabilities have all entered the discussion at some point. Is that one of the projects that you look at? I guess facial recognition comes, that's the kind of the third rail, if you will, of some discussions. How do you broach some of those conversations? Because nobody wants to go public with the technology.
Right.
How do you engage that conversation with folks?
Well, I mean, it's a great question. And so we're of course going with what Bob Oberster calls feature matching. And it really is relevant. I was talking to a company today, they look at tops of heads, not facial features. Others are looking, as you know, at gates and hands and other signatures. So we have a signatures project that we're looking at bio and digital signatures, because we know the wearables and smart devices, they don't give off just one, they give off multiple signatures. And so, but the way we're framing it up, and we learned this from the Met's come over from London, and they use this term called keeping vulnerable people safe in places. And so that's what this is all about. If your loved one's working or shopping there, wouldn't you like to know if somebody's just pulling that parking lot or coming that location that could be dangerous to them?
Right. Makes total sense. And of course, as consumers, we all want to be safe. We also have a concern about our privacy and making sure that we're not being monitored by every app that we install on our phone.
It's a fine balance. But so we do have a burning hashtag question that's come in on our burning hashtag screen we have over there. That really gives us everybody that's asking something super important. So this one's really popped up. And it's kind of an interesting question. They want to know, where'd the lab coat come from? Because we get all these lab coat pictures all over LinkedIn. And I think people, once you put on a lab coat, you may feel just a tiny bit smarter.
There you go.
So is that where this came from? Because if so, that is marketing genius, I must say. So tell me, lab coat.
Well, so we ripped off the law enforcement guys, the evidence-based law enforcement that we work with. We work with law enforcement, and they use pracademics. So it's this bridging between the practitioner out there making it happen and the academic that's helping them get better. And so the lab coat, we thought, hey man, that's a pracademic thing, right?
There you go.
I'm loving it. I want to see Bunsen
Sounds
burners
great.
at the next Impact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reed, thank you so much for spending some time and bring the lab coats with you, right?
I want
I
one. I'm just saying.
Right.
Okay.
There you go.
Done.
We're going to leave the conversation right there. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned to the Loss Prevention News Network, your #1 source of LP news and information.